AHBC Local Control. Driver's Instructions. Approach to crossing at caution and only pass over when the local attendant displays a green hand signal. AHBC Automatic Half Barrier Crossing, Level Crossing. Reportable railhead, what must you do? Select the non-stopping mode where provided. Tell operations control. What to instruct drivers when user worked crossing, user doesn't report back. Approach to crossing at caution, not to pass over it until the driver has made sure it is safe to do so, then proceed normally. Tell you whether the crossing is safe for the passage of trains. You must do this until you are told the crossing is safe for the passage of trains. The arrangements for crossing the line procedure. 1. The location where the line will be crossed or a structure will be passed by. 2. This is IWA, COS, SWL 1. So individual working alone, controller of site safety, safe working leader 1, their name and employer. Thirdly, how long it will take to cross the line or pass by the structure. So the location where the line will be crossed or a structure will be passed by. Secondly, their name and employer. This is the IWA, COS or signal or SWL1. How long it will take to cross the line or pass by the structure. What is the difference for driver, ES, SWL, taking line blockage 13.1? They must be given authority number. To protect the line blockage, what must you do with all points and the protecting signals? 1. You must make sure all points are in the position necessary to protect the line blockage. 2. Place or keep the protecting signals at danger with reminder appliance. What must you remind the person who has asked for trains to be stopped? Confirm to the person concerned that the line will stay blocked until the person tells you that the protection is no longer required. Remind that person about any other lines that are still open to train traffic. When can you always ground a line blockage with a train in section? A train within the limits of the portion of line to be blocked which has become disabled. The driver of that train has confirmed that the train is at a stand and will make no further movements without the signaler's permission. When must you keep the previous signal to the protecting signal at danger with reminder appliance? This is 13.2. If the work affects the safety of the line within 200 meters from the protecting signal. When can you allow the previous signal to the protecting signal, which must be maintained at danger, to be passed at danger? 1. When work affects the safety of the line within 200 meters of the protecting signal. If you have told the COS. You can allow the signal previous to the protecting signal to be passed at danger so that a train can reach a station, siding, or a crossover for single line working. Can you close a signal box during a line blockage? Yes, if additional protection has been provided. The line blockage is planned to be in place until after the signal box has reopened. What may you do if the location of the line blockage work will be beyond any points or crossovers? If agreed with the COS, you may set the route for an unaffected route, and trains can pass the protecting signal as long as the points are set for the unaffected route. Detonator protection for T3 possession. Standard distance 400 meters, which is 440 yards, or substandard distance, which is anything less than 400 meters from the protecting signals or points. The PICOP will not provide detonator protection at a crossover, siding, or loop where it joins the line under possession, or on a single line where the PICOP has the token as protection. What are the rules for taking a possession around one or more trains? 1. You must signal the engineering train normally to the signal or FTAP specified in the notices. The nominated signal must be maintained at danger. The signaller must advise the driver to make no further movement until authorized by PICOP, ES or SWL after the possession has been granted. The signaller must advise PICOP when trains are at a stand at their published location and then record the details in the TRB. Engineering train entering a possession. You must get the PICOP's permission for the train to enter the possession. Instruct the driver to proceed as far as detonator protection and wait further instructions from the PICOP. Make sure no conflicting movements have been authorized. You must authorize the driver to pass the protecting signal at danger. Engineering train entering a possession at an intermediate point. You must get the PICOP's permission for the train to enter the possession. The PICOP has positioned someone at the intermediate point to give instructions to the driver. You have not authorized a conflicting movement to take place. Tell the driver to stop and get instructions from the person at the intermediate point. You must then return the points to the agreed position after the movement has happened. Engineering train leaving a possession. PICOP tells you that a train is ready to leave the possession. You must make sure that the line is clear and safe for the movement to proceed beyond the detonators. Authorize the driver to pass beyond the protecting detonators out of the possession or through points or crossings that are protecting the possession at an intermediate point. Second, signal the train normally beyond the protecting detonators if possible. Then restore points to their agreed position when the movement has left the possession. If possession of part of one siding is to be taken, how would the PICOS protect the siding concerned? 1. A sleeper secured across the rails, and 2. A PLB, possession limit board, red flag or red light placed on the sleeper so that it can be seen by approaching movement. What are the two types of additional protection used for a protection zone? Disconnecting signal equipment, 1. 2. TCOT. If the line is required to be examined, what ways can this be achieved? You can see that the line is safe for trains to pass, a competent person to check the line, and thirdly, the driver of a train passing over the affected line to check the line is safe for the passage of trains. When can a train not be used to examine the line, but a competent person used instead? 6 ways. 1. Broken, distorted or damaged rail. 2. Broken fish plates, plural. 3. An underlying bridge has been struck by a road vehicle unless otherwise stated in SPSI. 4. Damage to a bridge not caused by a road vehicle. 5. Subsidence. 6. Suspected damage to any other structure below or above the railway. Unless fitted with portable headlight, when must you not use a train with a failed headlight to examine the line? In 3 occasions. 1. During darkness. 2. During poor visibility. And 3. If there is a tunnel in the section. What must drivers on the unaffected lines immediately next to the affected line be told when the affected line is being examined? So drivers on the adjacent line. Tell the driver what's happening, the locations between which the adjacent line is affected. Instructed to pass the affected portion of line at caution, to report as soon as possible if anything is seen to be wrong. The examining train into the affected section. What must you tell the driver? Why the line is to be examined. Reach a clear understanding as to which portion of the line is to be examined. Proceed at caution over the affected portion of line. Not exceed 10 miles per hour through the tunnel if the affected portion of line is in a tunnel. Not to exceed 20 miles per hour if examining because of a reported track defect, and then to report the state of the affected portion of line at an agreed location beyond the affected portion of line. Clear the signal for the train to proceed or give the driver permission to pass the signal at danger. And an example of this is when there is a track circuit shown occupied when clear. When using a train to examine the line, when can normal working be resumed? When driver of examining train reports that the line appears to be safe for the passage of trains. If the line was examined because of a track defect and it is reported that the line appears to be safe for the passage of trains, what must subsequent drivers be told and how long must this continue for? A track defect has been reported. Proceed over the affected portion of line at a speed not greater than 20 miles per hour. This continues until a competent engineer has confirmed that the affected portion is safe for normal operation. So a competent engineer for track defect. When a track circuit is showing occupied when clear, what is the first question that the driver of the first train over the affected line must be asked? If the line appears to be clear as far as can be seen. If the line appears to be clear as far as can be seen. What instructions do you give the driver examining train, including tunnel instructions? Tell the driver what has happened. Clear understanding with driver as to which portion of line is to be examined. Instruct driver to pass the signal at danger and proceed at caution over the affected portion. Not to exceed 10 miles per hour through any tunnel on the affected portion of line. Report the state of the affected line at an agreed point ahead of the affected portion of line. What must you do if you're told about a broken, distorted or damaged rail, or that both fish plates are broken on the same rail? 1. Stop trains from passing over the affected line. 2. Tell operations control. 3. Arrange for an RDE, rail defect examiner, or RDN, rail defect nominee, to examine the rail or fish plates concerned. What must you do with trains when the RDE or RDN has examined the defective rail or fish plates and gives permission for trains to proceed at a specified reduced speed? 1. Stop each train over the affected line. Tell the driver what has happened. 3. Tell the driver the location of the defective rail or broken fish plates, and then instruct the driver not to exceed the specified reduced speed over the defective rail or broken fish plates. Do you need to stop trains over any adjacent line when a train is passing over the defective rail or broken fish plates? Yes, no trains can pass over any adjacent line when a train is passing over the defective rail or broken fish plates. How long must you continue to instruct drivers to proceed at the speed authorized by the RDE or RDN? Until the RDE or RDN advises that the condition of the defect has worsened and train movement must be stopped. Secondly, until an ESR, emergency speed restriction, is imposed over the line or lines concerned. And lastly, until an RDE authorizes that normal speed of trains may be resumed. Bridge strikes. Underline bridge has been struck. What must you do? Unless shown in SBSI, stop trains passing over the affected bridge. Tell operations control. Arrange for a BSE, bridge strike examiner, or BSN, bridge strike nominee, to examine the bridge. The 4 classifications for underlined bridge strike appendix are: green, no action required; double amber, first train to examine at 5 miles per hour, subsequent trains to pass at normal speed, unless the line to be the affected line is being examined. Trains on the adjacent line will have to be stopped and told to proceed at 20 miles per hour. Amber, first train to examine at 5 miles per hour, subsequent trains to pass at no greater than 20 miles per hour. And red, stop all movements until examined by a BSE, BSN, and then carry out their instructions. Overline bridge has been struck. What must you do? Tell operations control. Arrange for BSE, BSN to examine the bridge. Carry out TS1 Reg 20, examining the line for the lines concerned. Overline bridge strike, subsequent trains. What must you tell? To pass under the bridge at a speed no greater than 20 until a bridge strike nominee or bridge strike engineer or examiner has confirmed that the line is safe for normal operation. Overline bridge strike. What must you tell the driver of the first train, that is to examine the line, the examining train, first examining train? Tell the driver why the line is to be examined, the exact location of the bridge. To stop short of the affected bridge, unless there is obvious damage to the bridge or there is debris on the line, to pass under the bridge and not exceed 5 miles per hour until the whole train has passed through the bridge. To report the state of the affected line at an agreed location beyond the affected portion of line. Late reported bridge strike. You must find out the approximate time that the bridge was struck, the type of vehicle that hit the bridge, whether any damage to the bridge has been reported. Tell operations control and work to their instructions. Treat the bridge strike as if it has just happened for subsequent trains. For underlying bridge, refer to TS1 17.2.1 and then carry out the instructions from control about the speed and type of trains that may pass over the affected line. For overlying bridge, subsequent trains carry out TS1 Reg 17.2.2 unless control tells you otherwise. What must you do if you are told about a body that is on or near the line? Find out the location of the body in relation to the running line. If necessary, arrange for an emergency switch off of the electric traction current. Tell operations control about the circumstances. When may you allow trains to proceed after a report of a body on the line? 3. 1. You have been told that the body is clear of the line. The body cannot be struck by a passing train. The body parts are not recognizable. When may you allow trains to proceed after a report of a body on the line which has recognizable body parts? You may allow a train to pass recognizable body parts if they are in a position where they cannot be seen by passengers on passing trains. You must tell the driver about the circumstances and get the driver's agreement for the movement. When dealing with dangerous goods, each vehicle has a 6-character emergency code, which is made up of 2 different pieces of information. What are they and what do they mean? 4-figured United Nations number. So 4-figured UN number. This identifies the substance in the vehicle. 2-letter alpha code allows control to identify who to contact for special assistance. When must the driver carry out emergency protection? If the signaller cannot provide signal protection or if the driver hasn't been able to contact the signaller. Single line working arrangements with pilotmen. P1 Reg 2. There's 7 arrangements. 1. Controlled level crossings which are protected by signals. 2. Automatic level crossings. 3. Barrow or foot crossings with white light indicators. 4. Unworked points. 5. Intermediate signal boxes which are closed and what time they will open. 6. Any TSR or ESR that affect the signal line or any train returning to the proper line. 7. Whether obstructed line has a T3 possession, line blockage 13.2 or failed train M2. Wherever possible, how must you control movements in the right direction? You must arrange for signals on the unobstructed line to be worked normally. The pilotman has given the necessary instructions to the driver. When returning back to the proper line, if provided, where would the hand signaller be positioned? Opposite the signal protecting the crossover where trains return to the proper line. Opposite the signal protecting the crossover where trains return to the proper line. When does a hand signaller not need to be appointed for trains returning back to the proper line? 2 occasions. 1. There is a main line signal at the crossover, or 2. Pilotman travels on every train. When can the pilotman divide a single line into two sections for wrong direction movements in a TCB area? 3 occasions. 1. The arrangement is authorized in the Signal Box Special Instructions, SBSIs. 2. The arrangement is authorized by the Network Rail Area Operations Manager. And 3. An intermediate hand signaler is appointed as shown in the SBSIs. When may you authorize, without the pilotman being present, a movement to enter or foul the signal line? 3 occasions. 1. When a movement is to pass to and from an unaffected route at a junction at the end of the signal line. When a movement is to pass to and from an unaffected route at a junction at the end of the signal line. 2. For a train to pass through a trailing crossover which is on the approach to the obstruction. And 3. You can authorize an assisting train to foul or enter the signal line.